Ethereum is going absolutely nuts. It is almost the 12-month anniversary from the previous Bitcoin halving. So we're going to look at the cycles. We're going to look at what lies ahead, what is possibly still going to happen with Bitcoin, with Ethereum, with altcoins. When is it going to be time to get out? And I have an announcement too where I want to share that I'm going to be closing the doors to my intelligent cryptocurrency program to new members in the next couple of days, and why I'm going to do that. What's up guys, Dirk here from intelligentcryptocurrency.com. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell after you subscribe so you do get future updates. And if you want to get notified by email every time I upload a video, get on my email list, first link in the description below. Sign up for my free crypto masterclass, that way you get on my email list and I can just send you an email every time I upload a new video. Alright, so we got a lot of cool stuff to look at. We're going to look at previous charts and data and cycles, and we're going to try and figure out how long this is going to continue going for, what is the best strategy, how to best manage risk, because ultimately the goal here is to really be able to increase the capital that you've already invested to be able to get out with gains, to realize that profit, because there is no point in just riding this all the way up and then all the way back down again to even less than you initially invested with. So that is the most important part of this entire cryptocurrency bull run, in my opinion. So obviously I'm not a financial advisor, just sharing with you my thoughts, my insights, having been in this market for the last 4 years, having seen the previous 2017 boom and bust cycle, and how this is playing out in a very, very similar way. So ultimately it's not about the individual specific coins that do a 10x or a 20x. Of course, it's really nice to get those if you can get that, but the most important thing is understanding the larger cycle, because as long as the bull run is continuing, most altcoins and most coins in general are going to continue going higher, even if it's a complete shitcoin, even if the coin has no fundamentals, even complete scams end up really pumping during the bull market. But once the bull run is over and the whole cycle is done and we start the new bear market, it doesn't matter, even the good projects can end up falling 70, 80, 90%. So you want to be very careful of understanding this larger cycle. So before we get into all of that, let's look at the market cycle chart. This one you are probably familiar with. I've shown it lots of times here on the channel. You've probably seen it around in other places. And this is basically just how the market cycle works. And we have to be very well aware of where we are in the cycle. Now, ultimately, we'll only always know in hindsight, right? It's very easy to say, now we know the peak of Bitcoin was 17 December 2017. But during the cycle, you don't know when it is going to end, right? Like right now, we are in this cryptocurrency bull run. We don't know if it's going to end tomorrow or in a month from now or in 6 months from now. So all we can do is try and guess as best as possible. And we have this chart. So now this chart is also the reason why I'm going to be closing the doors to new members of my intelligent cryptocurrency program. I'll be doing that this Friday, 14th of May at midnight Eastern time. So if you want to still join before the doors close, there is still an opportunity. Second link in the description below, all the details and the way to sign up. But I'm basically going to stop taking on new members. And the reason for that, I explained that in this chart, is because what happens every time in market cycles is that most people only get interested in cryptocurrency or a specific asset right at the very top, right? So what happens is that most people ignore this entire bull run, right? They ignore the massive gains. They sit on the sidelines. In the early phases, they keep thinking it's a scam. It's going to crash again, again, again. They keep watching it go higher and higher. Maybe they have friends or family. Maybe they see it on the TV. Maybe their neighbor gets super rich and buys a new Porsche with their crypto money or whatever. And then towards the very end of the cycle, that's when most people decide, hey, I'm finally going to go and get in. Like, for example, buying Dogecoin right at the top after it's gone up 250x from the lows, right? And the trap with that is you buy over here. Well, you're buying in the very top, and literally in a matter of months or maybe even weeks, the whole market crashes, and people that buy in here, they lose 50, 60, 70, 80%, maybe even more as a drawdown, and most people end up selling right here for a massive loss. Okay, that is how these markets work. There is a loser for every winner. So for every person who's made millions, there are probably hundreds or thousands of people who have lost fortunes or lost large parts of their savings simply because they don't understand the cycle and they're buying in at the top. Now, I don't think we're near the top just yet. That is what we're going to be looking at in this video. Personally, I think we might actually even just be somewhere here in the enthusiasm, maybe even early greed phase, somewhere over here, and we might actually still have a huge parabolic blow-off move to come, but that can happen very, very quickly. It can happen in a matter of a few weeks, and my decision is basically, you know, I want to help people as much as possible. That's what I've been doing. I've been here throughout the whole bear market since 2018. I've been sharing videos and updates. I've been guiding everyone, even here on this channel in public. You can go back through the videos and look how I've been saying, even since Bitcoin $10,000, this time is different. We're in full bull market. All this time I've been sharing all the way up. And that's when I've best been able to help. Now we're getting to a point where there might still be some of the biggest gains to be made in the shortest period of time. So I'm still bullish on cryptocurrency. I'm not saying the bull run is over right now, but you know, in my opinion, where I'm best able to help people, I want to help them still be able to realize gains, get out of the market as best as possible before we start this next crash. And I think we're still in a good position to be able to do that. But obviously, the longer the market continues, well, then we're getting closer and closer to the top, and I just don't want to encourage people to be able to get into the top. And obviously, I know I could be making a lot of sales, probably double or triple the amount of members that are in right now in the last phase, but you know, I'm not going to be able to help them. And all I can say is, hey, it's time to get out of the market, don't get in, which, you know, would probably be worth just signing up for that reason alone, because I mean, if you do buy the top and it ends up dropping 70, 80, 90%, it can cost a lot of money. But either way, that's my decision behind wanting to close the doors. So personally, I think we're still somewhere here. I still think we have the largest amount of gains ahead of us, but that will be my decision. So if you still want to join us, second link in the description below. You can sign up there, become a member. After Friday, basically the doors are closed for the rest of this cryptocurrency bull run. But don't worry, I will continue to provide updates here on YouTube for free and on my Instagram, so the links are in the description. Also, if you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me there. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet here, subscribe. Either way, also get on my email list, because I'll continue to update you whether you become a member of IC or not. So let's move on to some things that I want to look at to help us determine exactly where we are, because things are pretty nuts, okay? As I'm making this video right now, Ethereum is almost at $4,000. It's had an insane run. It basically went from $2,500 to $4,000 in a couple of weeks, and things are pretty nuts. So I've shared with you before the market cycle, the money flow, Bitcoin, Ethereum, large caps, and then the small cap altcoins. And we might be in the stage here now where after Ethereum pumps, we can see a huge pump in altcoins. And that is going to be very exciting if that happens. Now, what we have over here is the Bitcoin chart. As you can see, we're trading at about $58,000 as I'm recording this. And what we've had for the last few weeks is this kind of consolidation distribution pattern over here at the top, which to me personally does not look like a topping pattern. It does not look like we've had a blow off that would result in the end of the bull run. I think there would be still at least one leg up, and that is kind of what we're looking towards. So obviously, guys, there is no guarantees, but we're trying as best as possible here to look at the possibilities, what the options are to be able to navigate this as best as possible. So usually what happens in markets, not just in cryptocurrency, but in all markets, at the end of a long bull run, there is a blow off or exhaustion phase where it goes incredibly vertical for a short period of time. It has huge gains, and then afterwards the top is in, it reverses back down, and that is a market cycle, right? So what I'm expecting possibly is something like this, where we just have a big blow off phase, maybe somewhere between $80,000 and $100,000, and then, you know, if that ends up being a top, it could go down. But we're going to look at some other options too, where it actually may end up going much further. But you can see this is the whole 2017 bull run, and so far what we've done already has just completely eclipsed that and made it look like a little blip on the chart, right? So that is how this market continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger. We're at $58,000 right now. So the question is, how high can we go? Because I know there's predictions all the way up to $1 million and more, but realistically, what could we be looking at? And to be able to look at that, I always like to just look at the previous tops and the previous data, because that's pretty much all we can do. So what we want to do is, at the previous two cycles, the last 30 days is usually the blow-off phase. That's when we move the highest, the fastest, and that is what we're looking for. So in 2013, the last 30 days before the complete peak in Bitcoin, it went from $195 to $1,163. That is a 596% gain in the last 30 days as a blow-off top. So that's absolutely insane, almost 6x. Obviously, the market cap was much smaller back then, so that was much easier to achieve in terms of a multiple. 2017, it was less. It went from 7,536 to 19,891 in the last 30 days. So again, you can see that's quite a blow off. It went 2.6 3x in the last 30 days. So if this is anything to go by and we can expect some sort of blow off top, well then at $58,000 we've traded as high as $65,000, but let's just say from today's levels, $58,000, if we were to get some sort of blow off top, then we would still need to go a decent amount higher. So we can't really make assumptions that this cycle is going to be as big as the previous cycles in terms of percentages, because the market cap is so much bigger. So for it to move in the same percentages just gets harder and harder, because it needs to get exponentially bigger if it needs to maintain these same multiples. So if we can assume that maybe it's halving every cycle, it went from 600 to 260, let's just say it halves again, right, from the previous cycle, and the maximum blow off top here, that would make it about $80,000, which would be half the exponential gain. So if in the next 30 days it runs up to $80,000, it would be possible that that might be some sort of local top. And that is what I have drawn over here. So that could actually just be a run up. You can see here the vertical line, this would put it somewhere in June. So it is completely possible that we get a big pump on Bitcoin. It goes somewhere to 70, 80, maybe $90,000. And then that could be in, and maybe we could get a pattern looking like this. Okay, but obviously there's all sorts of different scenarios. I mean, you could go to 100,000, right? You can go to 160,000. Which would be a similar multiple as the last time. But that's also assuming that 58,000 is the level from which we get the last top, you know. Maybe it goes to 80,000, and from there, you know, we go to 120,000, and, you know, that's maybe close to half there. So there's a lot of ways to play with this. But basically what I want to say is, if on the low end, you know, we run to $80,000, who knows, there might be a potential that this might actually peak at $80,000 and maybe not go to the $200,000 or $300,000 or $500,000 that some people are predicting. And I know this cycle is different. That's what they say every time. I know it is fundamentally different. We have institutions, we have Tesla, we have MicroStrategy, we have Elon Musk, we have Mark Cuban, we have all this new retail money flooding in, we have more infrastructure, we have more compliance, we have all the stimulus and the fiat currency printing by central banks, the purchasing power going down, more awareness, all that stuff. I'm very well aware of it. But you also have to consider the possibility that maybe it doesn't go as crazy this time, and maybe it does peak somewhere at $70,000 or $80,000 this cycle and has a 50, 60, 70, 80% drop before eventually down the line maybe going to multiple six figures or seven figures, right? Eventually, I think that will happen for Bitcoin at some point, but maybe not this year. Maybe it will take another 5 years or maybe another 10 years. Who knows, okay? So that is why I want to share this with you, so that you are at least prepared of both scenarios. You can weigh out your options and you can manage your risk accordingly. Now, to flip over to the more bullish side, like a lot of these predictions are saying, you know, $200,000, $300,000 per Bitcoin this year, this cycle, maybe even in the next couple months, where things go absolutely insane. It is also a possibility. That's the difficult thing. So we don't know. We have to weigh out the two ends of the spectrum, the bearish side, the bullish side, and probably the reality of what's going to happen is it's going to be somewhere in the middle. Okay, so what we have here is the Bitcoin chart in a log scale, so logarithmic. It gives a completely different perspective of the chart. And if you look at it this way, the entire rally that we've had from 10K to 65K does not look as crazy steep and parabolic as it does on a linear chart. So it's important to look at the different perspectives here too. So three vertical lines are the previous three halvings, 2012, 2016, and 2020. Roughly, it may be off by a couple weeks, but just to get an idea on the chart. Okay, then this is a parallel channel drawn over those two previous peaks, 2013, 2017. Roughly, this tool is a little bit difficult to exactly position, but I've been able to position it here. And you can see Bitcoin has been in a perfect ascending parallel channel up here since basically the start, since it was launched. It was under it, broke above it, and you can see how it's been hugging the bottom of this line every single time. This was that flash crash back in 2020 based on the whole, you know, crisis in the world that's happening at the time, where it basically jumped under the channel. But for the rest, it's been completely within this channel. The top of the channel is here, which it's only touched 2013, 2017, and in the middle, you can see this dotted line. It's touched it quite a few times, so there is definitely significance in that. You can see over here, this little top over here, it spiked through it a little bit, but it was resistance there. It was support over there. Okay, it was resistance over here. It was support over there. Became resistance over here, 2019. Actually, how you draw it, it'll probably touch this. You can play around with this a little bit. Like I said, it's hard to actually position this 100% correctly, but you can see there are a lot of support and resistance touch points on this middle line, and you can see now we've been consolidating up against it for the last few weeks. So again, it is proving its significance as a resistance. So imagine we break above this and we run to the top of the channel, which we've done both times in the previous cycles, right? No guarantee it's going to happen again, but like I said, this was the bullish case, the bullish scenario. So let's just say we've had this consolidation here below this resistance over here, and we get a huge influx of money. We start seeing a few more announcements. Maybe PayPal buys crypto, maybe Facebook, maybe Walmart, who knows? We get a couple huge announcements like that. We start to see more money flowing in. We see maybe more stimulus packages. We start seeing more central bank policy changes. Whatever happens in the world, and all of a sudden Bitcoin just pumps and we break through this. Then if we're looking at the top of this channel, as you can see by this horizontal line over here, that is over $300,000. And if we put a vertical line over here, you can see June, July. Now, I don't think it would happen that quickly. Maybe it takes a little bit longer. Okay, maybe it goes up to here, and you can see by September, $377,000. So there is actually a possibility that this may end up playing out in this way, and we may indeed see $200,000 or $300,000 per Bitcoin. Like I said, this is a super bullish scenario. I don't know which one is going to happen. 80K on the low end, maybe 300K on the high end, somewhere in between. We'll ultimately know, in hindsight towards the end of the year. But there is definitely also a possibility for a move up to higher, especially if we have that blow off phase, which we haven't had just yet. And then just moving over to the crypto total market cap here on TradingView, it's $2.37 trillion. It's actually at $2.5 trillion if you look at CoinGecko. So, whatever it is, we'll work off the TradingView number at this point. This was the previous cycle high for the entire crypto market cap, right? 756 billion. We have already 3x'd that number in crypto market cap. It is looking very vertical, but again, it depends how you look at it. If you switch it to a log chart, it's really not too crazy. You can see on a log chart, when you change it like this, it's really not as vertical, and you can see how much it ran up last time versus only where we're starting right now. Okay, so let's just change this to a weekly, and you can see how different it looks on the log scale over here. So you can see it went from pretty much 10 billion to 750 billion last time, right? And now we're just this little move. So if we put a horizontal line over here, you can see, look at that distance that it moved once it broke that 2013 high. Now we broke the 2017 high, we've only moved this little distance. And you saw when it was in linear, it looked really parabolic and really steep. But when you change it to log scale, it's really just getting started. Like if it were to do a similar move in terms of length and distance from the previous high, I mean, if we're looking up here somewhere, I mean, that would be like 26 trillion. Is it possible? This year, I don't know. I doubt it. But who knows? In future, maybe it's a possibility. But, can we see, $10 trillion in a market cap this year? If you look at this chart in this way and you see what happened the last time, it's definitely a possibility. So that's why I'm saying it's not quite yet the end of the bull run, in my opinion. I think we still have an enormous blow-off phase to come, especially in altcoins. Once money starts flowing, we've seen what Bitcoin has done, right? We've seen what Ethereum has done so far. They've gone crazy. But those are the two biggest coins. What do you think is going to happen if this money repeats and flows into the large caps and the small cap altcoins? We could really be looking at 10, 20, 30x multiples on altcoins from today's levels. So again, guys, there are no guarantees whatsoever. Absolutely. This is the market cycle chart. Who knows where we are? Personally, I'd guess somewhere over here before the huge parabolic up move. But again, we'll be able to see this in hindsight. So hopefully all this information gives you things to work with, to consider, to manage your risk, the possibilities of upside potential versus downside risk. And, hopefully you did enjoy this video. So if you did, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, get on my email list, first link in the description below. And, just a final reminder, I will be closing the doors to new members for my Intelligent Cryptocurrency program this coming Friday, May the 14th. So if you still want to join us before that time, second link in the description, you can see all the details. There's a 60-day refund guarantee. Okay, so there's no risk to joining. If you're not happy, you can get your money back in full. But the risk is really after Friday, I'm closing the doors. It's not going to be exceptions. It's going to be done for the remainder of this bull run, so I can focus on helping the members that are already in there. We're going to try and navigate this bull run as best as possible. Hopefully we do get that parabolic blow off and we can make some insane gains. And then, you know, once we get to the lower stages, somewhere down here, once again in the next bear market, then, you know, I'll consider reopening the doors and we can ride the next cycle up again. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.